Once upon a time, nestled between emerald hills and whispering rivers, lay the kingdom of Sweetwater. The castle, a confection of turrets and towers, sat at the heart of it all. Within its walls lived Princess Amara, a vision of grace and beauty. Yet beneath the surface of her charmed life, a quiet yearning bloomed. Like a missing note in a favorite song, it tugged at the edges of her happiness. Princess Amara was loved, adored by the king and queen, cherished by the court. One day, while strolling through the palace library, she stumbled upon an ancient tome. The book spoke of true love, a love that transcended the ordinary. That night, Amara lay awake, yearning for something more, something beyond the confines of her gilded cage. Little did she know, fate had a sweet surprise in store for her. The next morning, a restlessness filled Amara. She abandoned her embroidery, leaving a trail of silken threads like fallen stars. That afternoon, unable to bear the confines of the castle any longer, Amara slipped away. With a whispered prayer and a quickening pulse, Amara ventured beyond the castle walls. She was about to discover that magic, like love, often appears in the most unexpected forms. The Whispering Woods lived up to their name. Every rustle of leaves, every creak of a branch, seemed to whisper secrets to Amara. Surrounded by the sights and smells of the forest, she felt a strange sense of belonging. The path, no longer a well-trodden track, became a winding trail of moss and fallen leaves. There, bathed in a pool of sunlight, lay a sight so unexpected, so utterly delightful, that Amara gasped in astonishment. It was a glade, small and secluded, carpeted in a velvet moss that seemed to glow from within. But it wasn't the sunlight or the moss that stole Amara's breath away. It was the Gummi Bears, hundreds of them, every color imaginable, and they were all alive. Amara watched in amazement as the Gummi Bears went about their day. A tiny figure no bigger than her thumb detached itself from the group and waddled towards her. "Greetings," the little Gummi Bear finally squeaked, his voice surprisingly deep for one so small. "Welcome to Gummi Glade. I am Gummi, the elder of our humble village." Amara, still speechless with wonder, curtsied low. "Greetings, Master Gummi," she replied. "I was seeking adventure," she finally admitted. Gummi nodded sagely. "Ah, yes, adventure. I believe," she said softly, "that adventure is wherever you choose to find it." Gummi smiled, his eyes twinkling. Gummi, with a twinkle in his eye, led Amara deeper into the heart of Gummi Glade. The princess marveled at the bustling activity around her. Gummi Bears, their fur shimmering like jewels in the dappled sunlight, scurried about their day. Amara, used to the grandeur and formality of the royal court, found herself enchanted by the simple joys of Gummi Glade. In the eyes of the Gummi Bears, she saw reflected all the emotions she knew so well: love, fear, hope, despair. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across Gummi Glade, Gummi led Amara to a tiny clearing. In the center, nestled amongst the roots of a giant oak, was a table set for two. Amara, her initial apprehension long forgotten, found herself charmed by the simple elegance of the setting. As they ate, Gummi regaled her with stories of Gummi Glade, tales of daring adventures and mischievous sprites. Amara, in turn, shared stories of her own world, of the grandeur of the castle and the bustle of the royal court. As darkness fell, the stars emerged one by one until the sky blazed with a million tiny lights. Fireflies, their luminescence like scattered jewels, danced amongst the trees, casting an ethereal glow over Gummi Glade. Beside her, Gummi, his tiny form almost invisible in the darkness, hummed a soft melody. "It is a song of my people," Gummi replied, his voice barely audible above the chirping of crickets. For the first time in her life, Amara felt truly seen, truly understood. Days melted into weeks. Amara, her days once filled with embroidery and dance lessons, now revolved around her visits to Gummi Glade. Each day brought new discoveries, yet a shadow of unease began to creep into her heart. The truth, like a drop of honey in a goblet of water, would eventually reveal itself. One day a summons arrived from the king. The page, pale beneath his feathered cap, stood in Amara's doorway. The parchment, sealed with the royal crest, trembled in his hands. "Your Highness," he stammered, "the king requests your presence." Amara accepted the summons, heart pounding. She smoothed her gown and took a deep breath. The throne room felt colder than usual. The king, worried, sat stiffly on his throne. The queen clasped Amara's hand. Her touch felt cold and clammy. "Amara, my darling," the queen began, "we are concerned." The king, subdued, said, "We have received word. Word of your unusual companion." Amara knew the truth was out. News spread quickly through the castle. Whispers followed Amara down the halls. The princess was now the subject of speculation and fear. The king issued a royal decree. Gummi Bears were to be banished from Sweetwater. Any found were to be captured and disposed of. Amara pleaded with her father. "They mean us no harm," she cried. "They are kind and gentle creatures." The king remained unmoved. "Their magic is a danger to us all," he said. "We cannot allow them to stay." Desperate, Amara fled the castle. She had to warn Gummi and his people. She raced through the whispering woods. Reaching Gummi Glade, she found Gummi addressing his people. "The humans are coming," he said. "They fear what they do not understand." Amara stepped into the clearing. "Gummi," she said, her voice choked with tears, "you must leave. It's not safe here anymore." Gummi nodded sadly. He knew their time together was ending, but he refused to leave without a fight. "Will you plead our case, princess?" he asked. "Will you speak for us, to your people?" Amara knew what she had to do. She would face the court and fight for Gummi's right to exist. For love could move mountains of fear and prejudice. The throne room buzzed with tension. Princess Amara stood before the throne, her heart hammered like a captive bird. King Theodore watched her. "Father, they are not creatures. They are the Gummi Bear people. They are the heart of the Whispering Woods." The king, his face a mask of stone, remained unconvinced. "The royal advisors agree," he declared. "These Gummi Bears pose a danger to our kingdom." From the shadows, a figure emerged. Lord Bareth, the royal advisor, bowed stiffly. "Your Majesty," he intoned, "the presence of these entities has disrupted nature. Crops have withered, livestock have grown skittish." Amara fought to control her anger. Bareth had poisoned the king's heart against the Gummi Bears. She knew he desired the Gummi Bears' magic for himself. "These are lies!" she cried. "I have seen the Gummi Bears. Their magic is pure, innocent. It is Baroth who seeks to exploit and destroy." The court erupted. The courtiers chose sides. The room became a battleground of suspicion and distrust. Queen Alara rose from her throne. "Silence!" she commanded. The room fell silent. Alara, known for her wisdom, held sway over the court. "Amara," she said, "we must have proof of your claims. Show us the truth of these Gummi Bears." Amara's heart sank. She couldn't reveal Gummi and his people to this court, but how else could she prove their innocence? Then it struck her. The answer was in the simple, everyday magic Gummi had taught her, the magic in the heart that dared to see beyond the surface. She closed her eyes, remembering Gummi's lessons, the feel of the wind whispering secrets through the leaves, the taste of sunlight on a ripe berry. She focused on that feeling, the pure joy of connection. Taking a deep breath, Amara began to sing. It was a simple melody, a lullaby Gummi had taught her, a song of moonlight and fireflies, of dreams spun from laughter and hope. As her voice soared through the hall, a hush fell over the court. The air seemed to shimmer and shift. A single ray of sunlight painted a pool of light at Amara's feet. Within the light, a tiny figure began to take shape. Gummi, his green fur glowing, stood before the court. He was no longer just a Gummi Bear. He was a testament to the power of belief. The courtroom held its breath. The king stared in disbelief. Queen Alara gasped, her hand flying to her chest. Lord Baroth, furious, took a step back. Amara, her heart overflowing with love, smiled at Gummi. He had trusted her, giving her the courage to fight for what she believed in. Silence blanketed the throne room. Every eye remained fixed on Gummi, a tiny emerald warrior bathed in a sunbeam. The courtiers seemed to forget to breathe. Even Lord Bareth couldn't tear his gaze away. King Theodore rose slowly from his throne. He took a hesitant step towards Gummi. The silence stretched, taut as a harp string. Then, to everyone's astonishment, the king knelt. King Theodore bowed his head before Gummi. "Forgive me," he whispered. "I have been blind. You have shown me the error of my ways." A collective gasp rippled through the court. Queen Alara reached out to clasp Amara's hand. A silent message of love and pride passed between them. Gummi extended a gummy paw towards the king. "Rise, King Theodore," he said. "We Gummi Bears hold no grudges. We understand that fear can blind even the wisest of hearts." News of the king's change of heart, and the presence of the Gummi Bears in their midst, spread through Sweetwater like wildfire in a field of dandelions. At first there was resistance, a lingering fear of the unknown that whispered in the shadows. But Amara, her voice filled with the conviction of newfound love and understanding, spoke to her people. She shared stories of the Gummi Bears' kindness, their gentle magic, their deep connection to the natural world. She spoke of the importance of embracing the different, of finding wonder in the unexpected. She reminded them that true strength lay not in might, but in the courage to open one's heart to something new, something extraordinary. Slowly, like the first buds of spring pushing through the hard winter ground, acceptance blossomed. The people of Sweetwater, their hearts touched by Amara's sincerity and Gummi's gentle wisdom, welcomed the Gummi Bears into their lives. The kingdom, once bound by tradition and fear, began to change. Laughter, like the tinkling of wind chimes, filled the air. Children, their eyes wide with wonder, shared sweets with their new Gummi Bear friends. The castle gardens, once meticulously manicured, burst with wildflowers, planted at Gummi's suggestion, attracting a kaleidoscope of butterflies and hummingbirds. Life in Sweetwater, once predictable as the changing of the seasons, took on a new sweetness. Gummi Bears, with their infectious laughter and whimsical outlook on life, became beloved members of the community. They shared their knowledge of the forest, their skills in herbalism and storytelling, their uncanny ability to find joy in the simplest of things. Amara, her heart brimming with happiness, continued to visit Gummi Glade, her bond with Gummi deepening with each passing day. They shared quiet moments beneath the whispering trees, their conversations as sweet and intricate as a spider's web spun from dewdrops and moonlight. And so, the princess and the Gummi Bear, their love a testament to the unexpected turns of fate, lived happily ever after. Their story became a cherished legend, whispered from generation to generation, a reminder that true love knows no bounds, no size, no shape, no limitations. It was a story about the transformative power of acceptance, the magic that bloomed when hearts dared to open, and the sweet, enduring truth that sometimes the greatest adventures are found not in faraway lands, but in the beating heart of a Gummi Bear. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please hit like and subscribe. A comment would be highly appreciated. It helps to figure out what kind of content you like and want to see in the future.